Mic check, 1 2 1 2. It's Georgette Pierre, and you're listening to Black and Nuanced Podcast, dispelling the ideas that all Black people are monoliths because we're not. My guests and I bring our varying perspectives to pop culture, relationships, and things we go through that we can't always name. Welcome to Black and Nuanced, powered by Excitement Radio. I got a special guest co-host with me, Lenny Green, L Green on the mic. 1 2 1 2.
Miss Georgette.
Hi.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for the welcome.
Thank you. The return, right. So last week I was like, oh, this is going to be my last podcast in Florida. And I was like, whoops, I got one more date. So these next two episodes is going to be my last recording in Florida.
In Florida, but they will continue.
They will. Absolutely.
Just from a different location.
Continue. Yeah, they're going to continue in the gritty New York. Okay.
I don't know if I like New York City.
Concrete
the gritty
jungle. People have been calling New York
really
the grit.
The concrete jungle, yes.
But
the Empire State, yes.
The gritty? People have been calling it the gritty.
Really? Is that what you have been calling my city?
Oh, wow. People know it as the grit. Come on. That's another nickname. The gritty. New York gritty.
Really?
New York City, New York gritty.
Okay,
please. We can.
Because for all I know, you could be part of the Trump clan. You renaming stuff. Silence? Okay.
Ain't nobody part of 45's clan. Nowhere near that.
Okay, I'm happy to know.
Lenny, thanks for joining me.
My honor, my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
It's definitely been different the last couple of weeks. A lot of things have happened.
Like what?
Well, my birthday passed.
Happy belated birthday.
Leo season. You didn't even
forgot to bring you something.
You didn't call.
But I'm taking you out after this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we're legit doing that. I'm excited. No, I'm excited because I already know where I want to go.
She's already in my pocket. You see what I'm saying? Ladies, y'all are small smooth.
But the crazy thing is Lenny's birthday's coming up September 1st, and Lenny knows I got him.
You got me what?
Dinner when you come to New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Because we're supposed to link up that week anyways. Yeah, I should be settled in my apartment September 1st, September 2nd.
On my birthday.
That's what I'm
wonderful day.
That's what I'm shooting for.
Okay.
So that's why I got to go back. By the time they hear this, I will be back in New York solidifying my apartment situation.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else happened? I no longer work at the radio station in Florida, South Florida, that I came down here. I'm not sorry to hear that.
I went to bigger and better things. Right?
Well, you're sorry because you're not going to be able to see my beautiful face as often. Yeah.
Well, yes. I'll have to go like most people now online to just get a visual of you.
No, you know what it is and to echo your point, on to bigger and better things. I definitely agree. This chapter closed, and a new chapter is beginning. Kind of overlapped with it.
That's good.
The way it ended was kind of funky, but I'm not even mad at it. I think it was the perfect exit. That's what I call it. It was a perfect exit.
No exit is supposed to be smooth. I don't know who told you that. It's not going to always end smoothly, happy.
But that's the gag, right? The perfect exit, meaning like it wasn't. You're right. It was the complete opposite of happiness, but it was the way you flip it in the perspective. And my perspective was like, this person gave me the perfect exit. So I almost felt like I left in a way where people were calling to see how I was doing, and people were caught off guard, but then there was also people that was like, Georgette, I'm so excited that you're leaving, right? Like, because everyone knew, and so.
Because new ventures, everyone wants new ventures in their lives.
Yeah, but to have people that you didn't know, like rooting for you because of certain things that happened and what's surrounding my position, I think that was super dope. And so, for me, it's like I turned Florida off and then I turned New York back on, or I don't know if I necessarily know if I ever turned New York off.
Well, you know what? I never turn anything off.
Yeah.
That's my philosophy, because you just don't know. Life is very interesting. The journey that we will set to go on, or we're destined to go on, I'll say. Mm-hmm. We never know. You may return to Florida, so you just don't know. Right now, your path is taking you in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And I think you should open it up like that, you know what I'm saying? Because circles of people who we associate with is very, very small. Mm-hmm. The paths can always intertwine back around. It's like a maze. It's like a journey of a maze that never stops.
I agree with that.
So I personally don't. I just say, look, my journey is taking me in a different direction right now. Who knows when my journey will end? It might end in Florida. It might end in Chicago. I don't know. California. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. Mm-hmm. But wherever God takes me, I'm there.
Yeah, but I'm good on Florida. End of sentence.
Okay, all right, I got you.
But I understand. But I think sometimes we don't also include the people that you may have felt like did you wrong. Like, it's the same thing with them. Like, the people that do other people wrong. Like, I remember someone said this to me. He was like, I'm not going to say his name because people know who he is. He was just like, God could put your enemies at your footstool.
Yep.
Right? So it's like you always want to be mindful. Despite how they treat you, you still want to be of grace and of class. And so.
Right. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you could see those same people.
Right.
and the energy will be different. We understand what the past was, and you could address that, of course, at some point if you need clarity on that, or just to kind of get everything straight.
Yep.
But the circle is so small. It's so big, but it's really, really small. Too.
Yeah. I mean, Lenny, when you had texted me when I had landed back from New York, it didn't even, because I've been gone for 8 days. Like, coming back to Fort Lauderdale, it just felt foreign.
Wow. It
felt very foreign. My boss in New York was just like, it feels different. I was like, it does. Like, I walked into my apartment and I was like, oh, shoot. Like, I have a whole ass apartment here still as I'm looking for one in New York.
But that will change.
Yeah.
Relatively quick.
Right.
Or it's already changed
well,
right
next
now.
week I'm gone.
It's changed.
Auto train. So, yeah. So, I'm looking forward to that. And
well, good luck in the new venture. And with your reconvening or reconnecting with some things of the past, so good luck.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere, Lenny, because I'm gonna be all up on your ass when you come in.
First of all, you're not gonna be. I have enough people to keep people like you away from me.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Don't let Lenny fool you.
She doesn't know me. She doesn't know me very well.
Don't let Lenny fool you.
See, you knew me when I came here, but you didn't know me when I was there.
Oh, I can say the same shit for me being
No, but see, you're popping a lot of stuff right now. So you don't understand my flow, evidently, but you soon will find out.
Lenny, I'm over you.
It's all good.
That's fine. So Lenny, what else? The other things that are popping. So I mean, again, like a lot of stuff has happened. Like, so personal stuff aside, I remember hearing about this Jay-Z NFL potential deal happening, and I was like, someone brought it up. They were like, yeah, people are mad at Jay-Z for this NFL deal. I was like, wait, what happened? Because I really pride myself on knowing what's always happening in pop culture.
And you weren't informed when it happened?
Let me finish. So they were just like, yeah, the deal got confirmed. So when she was running down the bullet points, I was like, wait, people were talking about this a month ago. She was like, yeah, but they closed the deal. They had just, I was in LA when we were doing dinner and we were talking about it. And she was like, yeah, they had just closed the deal. I was like, I knew I wasn't tripping. Like, I knew, Lenny, that I knew about this. And so now everyone is in a whole uproar about Jay-Z being, they're calling him the live entertainment strategist for the NFL. And so there was a lot of stuff that had come out about, like Nessa, she's an on-air personality in New York on Hot 97. Is it Hot 97? Yeah, it's Hot 97. She dates Colin Kaepernick. And so there was this whole thing that came out that Jay said he allegedly spoke to Kaepernick, got his blessing. Then she came out and was like, no. And so people have their commentary. NFL player, I think his name is Eric Reed. I don't remember the team he plays on, but I think he was part of the initial kneeling when it happened back in 2016. Right. He's on the team, so he's calling, like he's ripping Jay-Z for this deal. And then Kaepernick had posted on his Instagram allegedly addressing the comments.
What did he say?
He had said, hold on, let me pull it up for you.
You like singing in between everything, huh?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just always have I wanted to be an artist when I was younger. I wanted to be an A&R. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to be a recording artist. Okay, anywho. It says, my brothers E. Reed, K. Stills, I think I see 12, whoever those are, I think they're probably all players, continue to fight for the people even in the face of death threats. They have never moved past the people and continue to put their beliefs into action. Stay strong, brothers. Boom, in the fist. Yep, they're all players because I'm looking at the picture. So this was posted on Instagram.
That's what Colin.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't even seem like people are always looking for stuff. That doesn't seem like a direct jab to Jay. What else happened? Oh, what else came out was part of this deal is Jay-Z has interest in becoming a part owner of an NFL team. So essentially there's this outcry of reasons why Jay-Z made this move. It's for money. It's not really for Kaepernick and all this other stuff.
You said it's for money?
Uh-huh.
I thought he's a billionaire boy now.
He is, but generational wealth is a real thing. So anywho, just teeing up the story because I want to kind of delve into this as our main topic.
Well, let me just scratch the surface a little bit. Because, Jay has done some phenomenal things that didn't get any press.
Right.
The things he did in Africa, he's done some great things. Now, I question this as well. When
you question this whole deal.
Well, it wasn't done structurally, in my opinion. But who cares about my opinion? But I do have an opinion. So the bottom line at the end of the day is, what was the name of the song that Jay-Z says, I don't need the NFL?
Oh, so they referenced that. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to find that for you while you're saying.
You find that.
Yeah.
So the bottom line, in my opinion, I think, what Colin did was, was so amazing. He put his career, he put his life on the line to speak out on something that has been and still is impactful to our communities. Racism has never been addressed, will never be addressed, is afraid to be addressed by so many. And we have been dealing with racism for a very long time.
Right.
He did this cause, as everyone knows, to stand up against the injustice that was put upon black and brown people, minorities. And that was commendable beyond measure. So if this whole thing now turned, I would have liked to have seen Jay-Z been a little gangster with it.
In what regards, though?
Bring Colin. Being sort of NFL commissioner called a meeting with Jay-Z. Jay-Z has the power now to say, I'm coming, but I'm coming with Colin Kaepernick.
Right.
And when I come, these are the areas I want to talk about. What team is Colin going on? And the commission, I can hear the commission, well, I have no control over that. Well, you're going to have to make some control over that.
Right.
Because this whole thing morphed out of a clear misunderstanding that 45 had spoke about.
Right.
And people were stupid enough to buy what he was talking about.
Right.
So that would be the first project. Then once we get the team that he's on, right, then let's talk about black ownership of an NFL team. Black ownership in the NFL, because there's no black ownership at all. 95% or 90% of the players in the NFL are all black, and there's not one black owner. That's done purposely. They don't want blacks to really make that kind of $1 trillion money. Mm-hmm. Not billions, not millions, trillions.
Right.
And we understand that's money to play with. Money to burn is often guaranteed, but somebody needs to give up. Or some team needs to be recreated.
Put out. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So that way there could be some form of black ownership, because it's gone way too long before any kind of black ownership has any come to the table. And I'm sure this is not the first time. I heard that Diddy was interested in a team as well. So even if it's a collective thing, if we can come together and do this, there needs to be a black-owned NFL franchise, no question.
Yeah, it's funny because Cardi B came out, said that she thinks if anyone could, make the change, she thinks she supports Jay-Z, right? So I found the song. It's Ape Shit.
It's on Ape Shit.
Yep, he says, his lyric was, once I said no to the Super Bowl, you need me, I don't need you. Every night we in the end zone. Tell the NFL we in stadiums too.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I don't think, last year, last season, the NFL in numbers, they decreased.
Right.
Viewership decreased. All in support of Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, but not significantly. You know what I mean?
Well, Super Bowl was significant.
It
was a nice, significant impact. I mean, look, there's always going to be lovers. I'm a lover of football. Football first, basketball second, right?
Okay.
So I'm a lover of football. I too supported the cause as well and refrained from, and it was killing me. From like not supporting and not buying any football paraphernalia or anything like that, because I think this is a serious issue and it was a very bold issue that Colin Kaepernick did to really stand out, because no one is talking about the white soccer player that recently took a knee for injustice. That just happened the other week. No one is talking bad about him.
Right.
He's not on blast. He's not blackballed in the industry.
We don't even know what that's about, though.
Well, we understand. Again, racism goes back to systemic racism, that it's really prevalent and strong and never went away. It's covered up, and we as black folks, we have a tendency to be blind to the situations at times, so we don't care to address it. But it's always been there, always. It hasn't gone away, not for one bit. Mm-hmm. So I think a better way for Jay-Z to have lessen the blows was to have Colin there.
But we're assuming
Colin did get a settlement.
Well, okay, so then I want to get. Oh, we're going to talk about that. So we're assuming that Jay didn't pitch Colin in this meeting, but allegedly there's a full audio of the meeting that went down. But what was getting people was the whole remarks about Jay-Z saying that we need to reportedly move past the kneeling, right? Like you got to take action, and so that kind of rubbed people the wrong way. Yeah,
because you know what? It's almost like people saying, well, marching doesn't help. And, I know that's old school to Generation X, Generation Z.
Yeah.
That's old school. But, certain things do work. How about the word boycott? Can we understand that? If we move past the knee, can we boycott for real?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if we are so strong as a collective. We are strong if we have the right mindsets around us. But if we can stay strong like that as a collective and really do a boycott, like really, really do a boycott, and make an impact? Because our dollars are so powerful. Black people's dollars are so powerful. Why do you think everyone wants us to embrace them? And when we embrace them, we're very loyal to who we embrace. So if you're wearing Gucci, you're always going to wear Gucci, and you're going to come back, and they know that. So I think we should be conscious of how powerful our dollars are, because everyone else understands the value of us, but we don't understand the value of us. That's why I have a hard time with us so quick to go to, nothing wrong with European designers, but there's a whole bunch of African-American designers that are just as fierce and hot, but no one embraces them. I've been at a few fashion shows, and I've seen the lines, and they're just as nice, if not more nicer, than top-line brands that we know of, But it just requires us to kind of get behind it and support it. But that doesn't go the way it should go all the time.
That I agree with. I think, one, I would love to know who these designers are.
Yeah.
First and foremost. So if you could send me some links, I'll throw it up in the show notes.
Sure.
I think that the issue is sometimes I wonder, so we're focusing on Jay, we're focusing on him doing this, we're focusing on him doing that. But I think it's very interesting that we also don't look at what we're doing close to home, right? So we're so caught up in like Jay-Z didn't include Colin Kaepernick, but you still have some black men disrespecting black women, right? Like still being misogynist, still being, and so like
we still have black on black crime, which is very hard.
It's just kind of like, okay, like so. Anywho, let's get into the other stuff because that's the other string of things that I want to speak about. So, Eric Reed, Carolina Panthers safety, basically said that he felt like it was a money move and it undercuts Kaepernick. And, because the other thing that's supposed to be a part of this deal is like he's supposed to be doing social injustice.
Jay.
Yep.
Okay.
Initiatives with them. What else came out? So he's going to be doing some social justice work with them. I think the other thing was there should be an open space for the players to feel like they can talk about things as well. I don't know. So from the articles, the various links that I read, they feel like Jay-Z, so it's like white people saying like, I'm not racist. I have my one black friend. And so they're saying like, that's exactly how they're kind of saying like, oh no, we're not racist. Look, we hired Jay-Z. And so it's like Jay-Z's like this pawn, or that's how it's coming off in some of these articles. Like reportedly he's coming off as his pawn.
Look, Jay has a lot of power.
He does. I'm not
and a lot of influence.
Right.
And they know that.
Right.
They know his influence is pretty strong.
Right. Right.
And because his influence is so strong and so powerful, they're not going to let that go away. They're going to try to do whatever they need to do. So let's use this to your advantage.
Right.
Well, to black folks' advantage, to the purpose of Colin Kaepernick.
But think about it. If you like Jay-Z, you're a fan of Jay-Z, it's almost like you'll follow him where he goes.
Hey, look, let's be clear. When Jay-Z popularized the Yankee thing,
yeah.
I couldn't get, every place I turned, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I've never seen it so impactful. When Jay-Z started drinking Cristal.
And then they stopped because they were racist. Yeah.
Boom. But again,
allegedly,
they understand his influence.
Yep.
He knows his influence as well. And, he's getting the backlash because we haven't heard from Colin. He hasn't stood beside him. He should have been at that meeting. If you're going to have a meeting with the NFL, being so the NFL doesn't need you, you don't need the NFL, then they're extending their invitation to come to you. Look, I think this is a wonderful time. If you're going to sit at the table with the powers that be to make decisions, let's make it purposeful across the board. And let it be known. Because if you said there's a complete script of the conversation.
Oh, yeah, there's audio. I saw one of the articles.
In the conversation that was scripted that came out, there was no conversation on that, what they discussed in front of the press or in front of the powers that be. But that's a problem because everyone knows the Colin Kaepernick situation. No, everyone knows he still hasn't been placed on the team yet.
Well, they also feel like this deal came out of the situation with Colin Kaepernick. So that's the other issue that I think Eric Reed had maybe mentioned in that. I think his comments was like, like if Jay-Z wanted to do this, he could have done this 10 years ago. Like this literally came out of Kaepernick not necessarily reportedly not having a gig. Like that's what is also swirling.
Here's the interesting thing that is also circulating is Rihanna turned down performing at the Super Bowl because I heard that
reportedly,
Jay-Z
there's a couple people.
Jay-Z is supposed to be responsible for the halftime shows.
Now, yep.
So Rihanna's a Rock Nation artist.
She is, but
So
she could
the
still.
question, no, she has the power now.
She does. She can say
She's
so.
not. She can't be forced to perform someplace because she stands in support of Colin.
Kaepernick. Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it's going to be interesting if she changes her tune at this stage of the game.
It would be very interesting, but I also think what's going to be more interesting to see is people being divided over Jay taking that deal, like the major artists and people that he's connected to. It's going to be very interesting.
Look, Jay-Z may feel, well, I don't owe anybody any answers. But if we're going to be transparent and you're going to hold people accountable for their actions, you're now in a position for people to hold you accountable for your actions as well. Mm-hmm. They held Steve Harvey accountable for his actions when he took that meeting with Trump. That was a very negative perspective.
I forgot about
They
that.
held negativity against Jennifer Holliday when she was extended an invitation to perform for Trump's inauguration.
Oh, you mean Hudson? Was it Jennifer Holliday or Hudson?
It was Holliday.
Oh.
She turned it down.
Oh, and then to Michelle. Oh, they ripped her.
They ripped her. So, I mean, we looked at, we're living in a world of transparency. Are you obligated to say anything to anybody about your actions? No. But if you're in the public eye, if you're a part of the major influence of this culture, of society, you're going to be held accountable to a certain level, to a certain level of why you did what you did. Especially knowing the climate of the reason why everyone stood in support of Colin Kaepernick. So come on, stupid. Come on, man. Like, really, are you serious? Like, you're not obligated. But come on, can we be real? Because you're a Brooklyn dude. I'm a Brooklyn dude. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100.
Right.
Because when he goes back to Marcy Projects, he has to keep it 100 because that's the streets, and that's where he comes from.
If it hasn't been gentrified yet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, you know what would be interesting, and it would be great if he bought the projects.
Buy back the block.
Buy back the block.
Yeah.
And he might be, because he does a lot of things in silence.
He does. And I'm not,
I commend him for positive and great things
I don't
he's
disagree
done.
with him moving in silence. I definitely agree with that. But I think, I don't think he has bought it. Well, because they're doing tours now through the Marcy Projects. This is where Jay-Z lived. Like, that's
well, yeah, man. They do too.
Like the random ass tours that happen in New York. It's like
they doing tours everywhere in New York. People from other countries come in and it becomes a sightseeing. Look, when I used to be working in radio in Connecticut, coming on Metro North down to New York, the white folks would be so fascinated,
right,
when we hit Harlem and they see the projects because they didn't have a lot of projects in all parts of Connecticut.
Okay,
Bridgeport, yes, but you ain't gonna find no projects in Westport. You're not gonna find no projects in Greenwich. You're not going to find no projects in a lot of areas, the white areas. Because I didn't know. When living up in Brooklyn, growing up in Brooklyn, I was dumbfounded. I didn't realize black people were in Connecticut.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
yeah,
close.
yeah. That makes sense.
Until I got a radio job in Connecticut and learned that there are different areas where blacks do congregate and where blacks have lived for years. And I used to call it the Northern South because a lot of folks from the South migrated to the North. And this is where a lot of them lived. As a matter of fact, you're of Caribbean heritage in Hartford, Connecticut, a huge Caribbean.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Huge Caribbean group of population there. So, yeah, I was dumbfounded until I learned.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's interesting, man.
That's funny. And
How
so
people look at us and they're like, oh, this is the projects. Wow, we've heard so much about this. Oh, my God.
Oh my gosh, must be what Jay-Z talks about in that one song. Yeah. Oh, Mom, listen.
Yeah, no.
To wrap this up in the bow before we go on to all of the things. So Freddie Gibbs is like, fuck Colin Kaepernick. I'm standing with Jay-Z. And this is why he feels this way reportedly in this article on Hot New Hip Hop. I'll put all these links in the show notes. He's just like, please, did we not forget that Colin did a settlement deal with the NFL? I was like, in my mind, I was like, yep, I remember that. I mean, everyone remembered it. We don't know what the deal was, right? There's been allegations or talks of like the amount, and I was told like it wasn't as big as the amount was, blah, blah, blah. The other thing I thought about was if Colin was offered a job today, he would take it. Because I remember something, I don't remember where it was. I at least think he would take it. I remember, I don't know if he did an interview or something, but it was almost on some shit like where he's been training every day. Yeah. Like you stay ready to, so you don't have to be ready. Like he constantly wakes up every morning and still trains and still trains and still trains.
Yeah, and some folks have even raised to me like, oh, do you think he's still good? I think he's still good. Hey, look, we have qualified quarterbacks right now in the league. Mm-hmm. Evidently, a lot of them don't make the cut, and one or two of the quarterbacks are my favorite teams. I'm not going to mention names, but I think he's just as good as them, if not better. So, because I know one of my teams definitely needs a good quarterback.
Well, that's what Eric Reed was getting into about how there's teams like, they're like, well, we already got backup quarterbacks and all this other stuff. And he's not knocking certain teams and their quarterbacks or their players, but he's just like, Cap could go anywhere and they just don't want him to. I personally feel like when that deal happened, like that was their way of being like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, that was a way of like,
for him.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
But you killed a career.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed to do that. Whatever that was, whatever settlement that was. But you also killed a career. Now, when you're passionate about something, see, it's one thing if you're doing a job, but when you're passionate about a job, you will almost do it for nothing. You don't want to do it for nothing, but you will.
Well, Gibbs, I'm wondering if this is where you're going to. Gibbs was like, he felt like that discredited him taking that settlement deal. Like, that's why he's like, he can't rock with Kaepernick. He's like, you took a settlement deal. Like, nah, like, you're not as credible.
I think he took the settlement deal because he realized how he was blacklisted in a league that he was qualified to be in. Mm-hmm. So there was no reason why he should not have been in the league. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you should pay for that. If you have a good lawyer representation, to fight for your causes, there's no reason why this man is blackballed. So he's blackballed by a league that he was accepted in, that he's brought great mileage to. I think he was with the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
And he brought them to the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. And that was, that when he joined the 49ers, that was like their biggest movement since Joe Montana played for them. And that was way before Colin.
Yeah.
So, it's questionable what this cat is trying to, and I'm not saying that he doesn't have a validated point by no means.
Right.
But I think there needs to be more conversation or more awareness about it in order for all of us to speak strongly on it better.
Well, here's his quote. He says, fuck Colin Kaepernick. All of y'all niggas marched for Kaepernick and he took a settlement and ain't tell y'all what he got or nothing. He settled. Let it go. Y'all hating on Jay-Z for trying to own something in the NFL. Y'all niggas some motherfucking crabs. Sure. Yeah.
Well, black ownership is something that we really should all strive for.
Right. Like, so let me tell you, I'm not necessarily, obviously it doesn't affect me. Again, it's our opinions. I don't see anything wrong with what Jay did. It could be an unpopular opinion. Because the first thing I did think about, I was like, generational wealth is a real fucking thing. And he didn't come from that. And what's wrong with wanting to build it?
No, but you build it collectively, not by yourself.
But do we know that it's not Jay-Z Inc. that signed the deal. It's Roc Nation. That's
Jay-Z. Come on, let's not be stupid about that. Come on.
But you don't know. But we don't know what other details are part of this.
Of course, we're not gonna know all the details about it. But I'm saying when you become a part of society, when you become that important, where the eyes are all on you, you sneeze, people know about it. You know what I'm saying? They're concerned. What kind of tissue did you use to wipe yourself? Mm-hmm. You have to understand there's a level of accountability that goes with popularity. Mm-hmm. You stand to be accountable for certain things. I remember when Charles Barkley, former NBA player, said, "I don't want to be looked upon as a role model." Well, motherfucker, you are a role model. Whether you want to be considered to be one or not, you have put yourself in a powerful position to become a role model. So people are going to be looking at you and evaluating you and measuring up to your level of professionalism. So I think that's the thing. We all, if you grow to a certain status in life, you become a role model. Tyler Perry is a role model. Oprah is a role model. So there are certain levels of responsibilities that title requires.
Yeah.
You don't think so? If you became a role model, do you feel obligated that you have to live up to a certain standard, not for people, but for yourself, and you're going to be looked upon under a microscope in a certain way as opposed to prior to getting to that level of status?
I think it depends. I wouldn't run away from being a role model, but I think about early in Rihanna's career, she had said the same thing. She's not a role model. Rihanna still, there was one point she was smoking her weed, she was doing all this stuff publicly, but people, the role models.
Well, everybody's smoking weed now.
But I think for her, what came out was she liberated herself from herself, and I think it allowed other people to just be who they were.
And that's fine. But let's not move away from the bottom line. The bottom line at the end of the day is that you have raised your status in life for your own purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But by doing that for your own purpose, when you raise your status, you become an influencer of other people. Understand the breakdown of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then come back and talk to me.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm over you.
I love you, Georgette.
I love you too, Lenny. Okay, so moving on to all of the things. We were briefly talking about it, birthday shenanigans coming up. Mine passed on August 16th.
Now let's talk about your shenanigans. Let's dwell on that because you did all of that.
What for my birthday?
Yeah, I mean, I saw your little
birthday
stories.
tour. You know,
you follow her, and how can they follow you again?
Georgette Pierre. Yes.
Let's get it right.
Yeah, Georgette Pierre. Not my on-air name that it used to be, Georgette Pierre. No, you know what? I was blessed. So I'm just so fortunate that the connections I still have. And
no, but let's talk about what you did. I want to know about what you did.
Yeah. So I was like, I know my old team goes to LA a lot, my old team in New York. I was like, so I hit my boss up. I was like, boop, boop. So are y'all going to LA around these dates? Because I want to come out there and not pay for it. And so
I wish I could get a birthday like that. Go ahead.
But it was fortunate. It worked out for me. So I ended up doing some work for them. So I flew out there. So the first half of my week was in LA, and I kikied around like I never, back up in that bitch like I never left. LA is my second city.
Oh, it's just, really?
Yeah. So I would stay at the London.
You stay where?
The London, West Hollywood.
Oh, I never...
You can meet me at the London. Don't say that.
I haven't stayed there yet.
You got to. You got to pull up. One of those, like whenever I come up there, if you got time, you should pull up. I'm saying
when you're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Well, because I know it's a song and people talk about the London, but I would always stay there, and it's so gracious and just an opulent life. And I was able to treat people out to meals, like just literally back in the life that I had before I moved to South Florida. And, when you're traveling for work, you don't, and at least in TV production, let me be very clear, at least for the team that I work for, because of the work that you have to do, like you are you're within parameters that you don't pay for travel. So that's hotel, rental car, meals. So,
wow.
I had
consider getting into TV next. TV, I'm on my way.
Yeah, so I was able to treat people out. People hung out in my room. I was like, pull up, because we were supposed to film Georgette. Oh, you weren't on here with me last week, but we were supposed to film more episodes of Georgette After Dark, my interview series.
Georgette After Dark.
Wow. I filmed 3 episodes 2 years ago in LA at my friend's house. We were geared up to film some more, and some snafu happened. I was mid-flight to LA, and I couldn't take care of it. Like, I don't have phone service, and so the camera went to a place, wouldn't send release the equipment to my PA. So I was just like, let me make the most out of it. And so, and that's also when I found out that I was told not to come back to the radio station after putting my 2 weeks in. So I was just like, oh, I'm really going to turn the fuck up in LA.
Well, you you put the 2-week notice in, so.
Oh, I was prepared for everything.
I understand that, but you also have to understand, once the notice is put in,
it's
a 2-week,
whatever happens.
Yeah, it's pretty much a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap for you then.
Well, it's in the nature of the field that we work in, for sure.
In any field?
No.
Really?
You can't speak for. It's radio. I think it's radio because you have access to a microphone. I can make you lose your license or potentially.
Okay.
Like there's. I think
same thing with TV.
There's
in regard
liability.
if you're on as a host.
There's a lot of liability, but there's been people that have stayed out there 2 weeks. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, I just need, educate me on that, because, you have a different perspective on things. But, I'm not saying give me the homework assignment today, but, just educate me.
Okay, well.
Because once you put in a 2-week resignation notice, it pretty much says, it gives notification to the employer that this is when you're going to be leaving. Mm-hmm. They have the ability, right as soon as you give it in. They may have known what your future is going to be like, but you have definitely told them what your future is right now.
Right.
So then they are no longer obligated to keep you for those 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Totally.
You're just telling them 2 weeks I'm out, and they could say, no, you're out tomorrow.
Right.
But thank you.
But it was so funny. I had told somebody, I was just like, because of how like certain things operated, I was like, employers don't give anybody notice when they let you go. I was
Nope.
like, why the fuck do we give them 2 week notice courtesy?
Well, same thing. Why do you give your apartment notice? Because they want notice too. If you're right in the middle of your lease, they want notification. Like you can't leave. When you get into these contractual agreements, as you get further in your career, you just can't up and go as well.
Contractual is one thing. I wasn't on contract.
Well, I hear you.
Okay.
But when you do get on contract, because you will be getting on a contract.
Come
at
on,
somebody's
I
contract
received
at some
that.
point,
I received that.
as you should.
Received that.
You will be noticed.
No, I definitely understand that.
If
But
you're going
but they
to-
can still cut you in the middle of your contract. They just are obligated to pay out what the rest of your contract is. Like,
That's true.
So
Right.
so you know, but
Providing you negotiated that in the beginning. Because if you don't have somebody to look over your paperwork,
oh yeah, I'm anal.
you're assuming that that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And they may have fine print in there that that's not going to happen.
But yeah, bounced around from LA for a few days, and then I went to New York, and that's when I was in New York with my when my birthday took place, and I just had dinners lined up the night before my birthday, and then
Notice, ladies and gentlemen, she didn't say a dinner. She said dinners. So that means dinners was lunches as well, maybe a couple of breakfasts along the way.
No, not even that. It was like legit dinners planned. Got dressed
Dinners
for it.
and drinks. Oh, we saw her. Yeah, for those of us who follow you, we saw your stories. You know, your instant stories was pop. I'm like, wow, she's doing a lot.
Right, because you could have sworn like, damn, she got let go or not let go. Like they told her not to come back, but she out here living. And I loved it.
Yeah.
It worked. It actually,
We all should be like you, Georgette, when our birthdays come around.
I was fortunate that happened like that. Like I wasn't anywhere where I was mourning or had time to think. I literally didn't have time. I was just like, shit, I'm in LA and I'm 3 hours behind. So I don't even, like, people texting me and calling me and I'm like, wait, what time is it?
Yeah, you're living that Hollywood life right there. You feel that? You feel that? She's living that Hollywood life for real.
But because I hit a milestone year, it was, I've just been very reflective, about what's important to me, where I want to be. And the one thing that is my quote now for forever and a day is I will no longer be complicit in my own unhappiness. So I'm not, as much as we can blame people for doing this, doing that, I was just like, no, I'm not putting the blame on them anymore or whoever. I was like, if I'm unhappy, this is relationships, this is career, this is wherever. If I'm unhappy and I choose to stay, Lenny, that is on me. And I couldn't fathom the thought of staying somewhere where I wasn't unhappy, where I wasn't happy anymore. So,
well, I think the key is also try not to get complacent.
Yes, but what's so crazy? When I came in, I heard too many horror stories of complacency. I mean, like to the point where people would complain like they hated where they were. And I was just like, but why did you stay 10, 15, 20 plus years?
It's just like why do people stay in toxic relationships?
Because you don't think that you can get better.
And you don't want to be alone. And in this case of the day, people are in need of money. Life doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You may be tired of it, but life doesn't stop. But to your point, and to support your point, it doesn't stop us from at least sending things out. Send and see if there's any prospects out there, because the best time to look for a new job is when you have a job. Mm-hmm. Obviously, if you can have that perfect world. Otherwise, an unemployment thing might happen, and then you'll be subjected to look for a job when you don't have a job, which is frustrating.
I've been there too. I think the other thing, and the only thing I can think about is just empowering people to understand you get complacent, but there's no loyalty from the company to keep you just because you've been there for 10, 15 plus years.
There's no more loyalty. No, not at all anymore. And it's a blessing, and I do mean that sense of the word, if you are able to stay in a job for 30 plus years these days. I'm fortunate to have replaced a legend that was, in 2 cities, that had been at radio stations for a long period of time. But those are blessings. When you can stay at a company that long, and obviously, hopefully, you're being treated financially well.
Yeah.
On those jobs, I mean, I look at it and I call it a blessing. I don't call it luck. I call it a blessing.
I agree. And that's what I'm saying. I definitely agree with that. So, yeah, my birthday was just spent just being happy. And, I'm not going to say who this person is, but there's this one guy I had met, super sweet, super dope.
Oh, what? Share with us.
I met him through somebody else that people know. And he lives in L.A. And so I had treated him to breakfast in my room, and I had treated him to dinner.
Whoa.
not like that. No.
Look, hold on.
Here we go.
Fellas.
Here we go.
A woman treats you to breakfast in her room. And then she backs it up by saying, it's not like that.
It wasn't.
You're having breakfast. Who knows what her attire was?
I had clothes on. I had full clothes on. Like we were about to walk out the door.
Lingerie is clothes.
Okay, seriously?
Technically.
Lenny, why do I even do this with you? But you know what? You can have that. I'm going to let you continue to build a story that's not there.
I'm not taking anything I can't have. The bottom line is I'm just making a point.
The clothes I had on were clothes that if room service walked in or the moment he finished eating, we could haul ass out the door.
But you could tell us anything right now.
Okay, I don't care. And so, anywho, like I treated him to dinner with one of my other girlfriends to this nice swanky spot in Bel Air.
Bel Air. Well, I've heard about these. I've heard about these places before.
You've heard.
I haven't been there. Though.
You've only heard.
I've only heard. Wow.
Okay. You've been to LA though before.
Yes, once in a lifetime. Yes, I have. I don't travel
like that
to the coast like that because I just don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to what?
I just don't like long flights, to be honest with you.
Oh God.
But I want to go to Africa, so I guess I have to prepare.
So you should practice with LA. Because Africa is double that.
No, you're absolutely right.
You know what I mean? Like being funny, not being funny, but being serious. Yeah. And I woke. So I upgraded my flight coming back to New York. I was just like, I'm not on the airline that I normally fly, but that's fine. Let me just upgrade because it's to your point. It's a long flight.
You were in first class?
I didn't. I did. So Delta has like 5 different fucking groups now. But they split, to be honest, this is the gag, and I have to say this. So Delta split their main cabin into like 3 parts, which is so crazy to me. So they have first class, they have Delta Comfort Plus, main cabin 1, main cabin 2, and then basic. But main cabin 1 through basic is still main cabin. But anywho, that's... So I upgraded where I didn't have to sit. They had a big plane because it was from New York to LA. LA to New York is usually big flights. People are always traveling between that route. Okay. So they had 3 rows. They had the one on the left side, 2 people to a seat. Middle row was 3 seats. Right, 2 seats again. So I was like, man, I want to sit by myself and I want a window seat. But I had picked a seat where no one had bought a seat next to me. So sure enough, I had that whole row to myself. And when I tell you, like, I played with every position I could to sleep well. Like, I took my shoes off, put my socks on, like, donezo on the plane. That's never happened. I've never been on a plane where I could sleep, like, lay out like that. Anywho.
Really?
Never.
I'm surprised.
On a bus? Yes. Like Greyhound, like from New York to D.C.? Yes. A flight? Hell fucking no.
Okay.
What are you about to say?
No, I'm not
going to
say anything. I'm not going to say anything.
Anywho.
No, I'm glad you were comfortable. Because it was, 5 hours coming back?
Yeah,
right?
5 to 6.
No, 6 hours going, 5 coming back east because of the winds. Facts.
For a guy that's only been to LA one fucking time.
I have been there more than once.
Okay.
You know, you're going to expand on one. I've been there a couple of times, okay?
Is that true, really? Because of the winds?
Check my facts.
Interesting.
When you're going from the east to west, you're going against the wind.
Okay.
When you're coming from west to east, the wind is pushing.
Well, because I've taken that flight so many times, it's teetered between like 5.5 for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Nonetheless, I woke up to this text message that almost had me in tears. Like, I was still processing everything that happened with the whole like letting go, don't come back, turn your ID in, or you owe $20, whatever. I gotta roll my eyes about that. And it was just like, you're destined for greatness. You're full of class, and I see it every time that I look at you. I was like, oh my God, like it was so sweet, Lenny.
That's good. When someone sees potential,
yeah,
and they share it with you,
right?
Take heed to it.
I mean, like I was flabbergasted. The word is just funny. I was flabbergasted. I was because sometimes you don't know if you're making the right decision. Sometimes you don't know if people like see what you see, and sometimes you don't necessarily always need people to see what you see. But that was just even more confirmation. He was just like, I will always answer my phone for you, like whatever you need. Like be easy, take care of yourself.
That's good.
And I was just like, wow. And this is someone I only just recently met a couple of months ago, and he was able to see all of that. Right. And that's when I knew. I was like, I know I'm not tripping when it comes to like my, when you feel people's energy. And I was like, let me continue going about my business. And so, that was definitely a highlight between everything else. And just being around people like loved ones. That's how I really wanted to spend my birthday. It was that important to me. But anywho, enough of my birthday. Your birthday's coming up. What are your thoughts about your birthday? Like, do you get reflected every year? You're not hitting a milestone year yet, right?
Yeah, I'll be hitting 72.
Okay.
So,
yep.
That's almost a milestone. 75 is the milestone.
Okay.
72.
He's not 75, nowhere near.
So,
but like, where you
this week is rough for me because this is the week of my mom and my auntie's birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
So emotionally, I'm going through some things, but it's always a blessing when you can see another year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take my life for granted, and every year is a blessing, and everything, whether it's good or bad, things I need to learn are all a part of my journey, as I feel that we all have journeys. So I look at a birthday as a wonderful opportunity. I was never one to really get into birthdays. One of my business partners years ago got me started when I first got to New York on radio.
Celebrating your birthday?
Celebrate my birthday.
Really?
I really never celebrated a birthday, and it's not like I don't even expect things from people. And maybe that's a bad attitude to have. But
I don't think it is. I
could never be disappointed if I don't expect anything.
Well, I agree. Yep.
So if I do get something, that's nice. And
icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's icing on the cake. But I'm just happy with the basic, and the basic for me is to be in good health and just have life.
Preach.
And then I'm blessed to have a career. So I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that alone. If I can be around, yeah. Now, the perfect world for me would be to have all of my loved ones who have transitioned, who have passed on.
To be here with you.
Especially my mom.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing.
Right.
Especially when it's time for, they always seem to surprise me. Okay, it's cake time for Lenny. And that's when, it gets me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So don't surprise you with cake.
Well, publicly, it's rough.
It's a trigger.
Yeah, it's rough. But I'm just I'm looking forward to another blessed opportunity.
Right.
God grants me. He granted me today, and I'm here. So that's the blessing in itself.
Amen to that.
We're gonna have a yacht party.
And
I have.
It's coming up. By the time they hear this, it'll be this weekend coming up, right? Like August 30th. August 30th.
Friday night. It's a midnight yacht party.
Shit, I was
Mr. Cheeks from the Lost Boys. He's going to be performing.
That's why I called you, because I wanted to talk shit about the people that were going to be on your damn yacht.
Oh, excuse me.
Right, not talk shit in a bad way. I was like, oh, he got Mr. Cheeks, he got so and so. I was like, oh, Lenny be trying to act like he's small time. All right.
I'm still growing. But
the Lex Coupes, the Beamers, and the Benz. To all of my ladies and my men. Okay. I like the Lost Boys.
We all do.
They're on my old school Steve's playlist.
Man, we miss Freaky Ty.
Oh, I know. I was so young because he was in his 20s, early 20s when he got killed.
And what were you? 2, 5, 10?
You want me to come across this goddamn...
Whoa. Look, don't be aggressive with me like that. You know what I'm saying?
You want me to come across this damn microphone. No, I think I was probably like double digit.
10 is a double digit, in case you didn't know.
Maybe like 12, 13. I was listening to hip-hop young.
Oh, you were in it.
Oh, I was. Okay. Catholic school and all, rapping Biggie lyrics.
Wow.
Machine Gun Funk. Damn. Niggas try to get me from my cream. Okay, anywho. Lenny.
She's too funny. She's a character. She really is. Leo
season. Don't forget, our president ran this world. Okay.
Don't forget my mom and my auntie. They were all apart. Leos. I'm used to being around lions.
Real.
See, calm down. That's a little cat.
To be honest, it sounded like I felt like I was like Empire, like the wrong lion, like ring.
Oh my gosh, God, get this kitten out of here. I'm talking about lions, the king of the jungle. He's giving me a what?
I'm gonna throw in a lion. Son.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Lenny, how can they find you?
At Lenny Green on Instagram, at Lenny Green on Twitter, and I have several hundred pages on Facebook.
We're gonna have to consolidate. We still gotta get that together.
Yeah. She's been trying to get it together. She helped me one time, and I thank you so much for your time.
No, you know what the issue... I told you what the issue was. They deleted and got rid of the old email account. It was with who again? Was it... No, it was...
Yeah. But you know what? It's too long to even get into it. Okay. Look, but I would love for everyone, just shoot me a quick email. LennyGreenTQS@gmail.com. LennyGreenTQS@gmail.
I love that he gives out his email address. I do. I mean, I do. That's what's up.
It's all about connecting, right?
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. You can find me personally on Twitter at Georgette or Instagram at Georgette Pierre. The podcast, Twitter and IG, Black Nuanced Pod. That's Black Nuanced. Twitter is in shambles. I have not posted in so long. I'm going to get it together. Find me on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, and Spotify at Black and Nuanced Podcast. And similar to Lenny, you can email me at blacknuancedpod@gmail.com for questions, comments, and feedback. Thank you, Lenny.
Thank you, Ms. Georgette.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate the invitation.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Peace.